Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Jobber Radio Prediction League. We are going to be talking about JRPL's Extreme Rules, going over a little recap. First, though, I want to point out that we did have a sponsorship deal coming up with CZW's Tournament of Death. So if you could, please like, comment, subscribe, anything whenever we retweet stuff or, share stuff with the tournament that's going to be happening coming up soon. Every little bit of support is going to help out. And when it comes out on DVD, we will be posting stuff. And as long as everything works out, we will be giving away a free DVD for anybody that is interested. So just wanted to bring that up. So check out CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling. We are sponsoring on October 29th, Tournament of Death 2022. So there we go. All right, got the sponsorship out of the way. Beginning of the video this time, so at the very end when everybody's already clicked off. That's a big win. All right, so let's look at events. Extreme Rules 2022. If you didn't hear the theme song, just click the button. It's going to play for you. You need to listen to it. I always try to listen to the lyrics, trying to make some, some picks when it comes down to the overall theme of the pay-per-view. I felt, just check out the lyrics. I think it was very fitting for this show. We're going to start at the bottom like we always do. Not a lot of achievements were obtained for this show because a lot of the people that were in stipulation matches kind of already have wins in those matches. They're just adding to their stats and building up towards, bigger achievements later on. So the ones that we got, X marks the spot. The gifted one, Ricky Jones, picks up his first Ultimate X win, his second win overall. We'll talk about that. The Rung Climber win a ladder match. That was Alpha Dog's, believe it or not, Alpha Dog's first ladder match win. I didn't believe that at first, but I wouldn't had to check that out. Highest possible score was 41, very low compared to our all out scores, which was like, I don't know, 100 or something it seemed like. Only 6 matches here. That's why I had to add in a lot of bonus questions, more than usual, because anytime we have less than 8 matches, I feel like I gotta, spice it up where there's not 100 ties or no contests on the show. So let's get into the actual results. Starting off the very first match on the card, we got Angelo DeMarco making his JRPL debut. Little Ricky Shane Page pick base here. Very cool. I like that. Little indie guy. Going against Chappers, veteran. We're talking JRPL, I believe, 2-time tag team champion here. The veteran gets the win, 31-15. Pretty decisive victory here. Not too many people scored in the 30s, so Chappers came in with a big score. Speaking of big scores, next up, Kyoko and JJ Rocky starting the show off. I think last. Let me load up the. Hold on. Let me just double check something here. Yeah. So over at All Out, this was the All Out results from last month. The match of the night came from the very first show on the card. The very first match on the card. Better Than You defeated DJ Killer Kyle. And over here, the second match on the card, Kyoko and JJ Rocky get match of the night, 34-25. That's a big win for Kyoko. Kyoko hasn't had a whole lot of single success here in the JRPL. So, and actually, we were talking about the show when she was making her picks, and she was going to, the only match she got wrong was Ronda Rousey. She originally did have Ronda Rousey in to win, and she flipped it at the last second, put Liv Morgan in. So she almost had even more points in this. So. Congrats to Kyoko on that big victory there, especially over JJ Rocky. Very, very top-notch opponent. Then we got Tagaby against CJ Hawk. CJ Hawk, unfortunately, falls to 0-2 since taking on the name CJ, or putting the CJ into his name, I should say. And Tagaby, look at that, 2-0. Tagaby starting off in this, since the relaunch here, getting a big win, 27-22. Pretty decisive victory here for him. And then next up, me and Orstella, 1-point victory here. Orstella had the win until the very end of the show, because obviously I'm keeping the track of the live results. Make sure you check us out on Discord if you want to see any of the live results and stuff like that. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit. I should probably zoom and make this. Graphics might be a little more blurry, but you can probably see the stuff a little bit better. I should have done that at the beginning. Sorry about that. But he had the win until the very end when Bray Wyatt came out. That he actually had no for Bray Wyatt for the bonus question, and I did have it. So that actually swung the match in my favor or Stella. He pointed out in Discord that I am now 2-0 over him. I didn't know that, but there we go. Happy to see that on my end, actually. But so very, very close match here. And right after that, another very close match. This is the main event of the kickoff show here. Cam Popplestone against Legit Boss 2K. 22-21. 1 point victory here for Cam Popplestone. Always in the running for winning a match, even though he doesn't have the best record overall in the JRPL. He can beat anybody on any day, and this proves it here. Former world champion Legit Boss. This was her debut since the relaunch. She actually was not at All Out, but did show up here. It was supposed to face Woody, but if you go up and down this card here, you notice Woody decided to no-show, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit when we go through some of the write-ups and everything. On to the main show here. Main card, Better Than You versus Magus. I forgot to ask him how to pronounce that. I think it's Magus or Magus. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go with Magus. I'll talk to him. I said I was going to do the last time. I totally didn't. Anyway, 27-15, big win here for Better Than You, who moves on to 2-0 in the JRPL. So big win here. He had the match of the night victory over at All Out, which we just talked about. So looking pretty good. Not going to lie. This is a pretty good start in your JRPL career. So congrats to Better Than You. Magus needs to, I don't know, come back to the table with something big at the next show. I don't know if he does, because he's my real life friend. I don't know if this is previously Exo Kev, if he does NXT shows. So we'll find out. I'll talk to him about that. But he might not even be at the next show. We'll see. But anyway, moving on. Mod Step defeats Peanut Is My Bitch 69. As we go further on in the years of JRPL, and Peanut, one of the former hosts, as he fades away from not being a part of the JRPL anymore, Java Radio anymore. This name is going to be very confusing, I think, as we move on. But 1 point victory here. Mod Step coming in with a big score. We still don't know how serious Mod Step is taking the JRPL this time around. So we'll have to get more into it. We'll see where the character goes, how the character develops. All we know is that got a big win, 2 big scores here. This was almost match of the night. This was the second closest, I believe, for match of the night. So both superstars putting out some big numbers here in this match. So far, as the write-ups go, the only real thing we talked about was the Magus and Better Than You. Pretty much just showcasing Better Than You. He hit his Better Than You finisher, which is a submission move, I believe. I'll have to, his profile will be out once he hits his 5 matches. You'll be able to see everything, but I believe it is a submission move. I don't have the thing loaded up right in front of me, but yes. So pretty much just showcasing Better Than You so far. There was no actual write-up for the Mod Step and Peanut Is My Bitch 69 match. We are at the early stages of JRPL again. We are, building on stories, so there's not a whole lot right here in the initial going on. Same way when we started out right off the bat. If you remember those write-ups, wow, those was like maybe 3 sentences for the whole write-up. So initially, early on, if you remember, those who were here back in the day, and those who weren't here, is a little history lesson for you. JRPL was not, focused so heavily at the very beginning on, role playing and, these giant write-ups, which is what came to be over the years. I got a little out of, got a little carried away, got a little out of hand, I should say, with the write-ups. But so as we build on, obviously there's not a lot of stories going on yet, but please hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Discord, DM me, let me know what you want to do with your character, because obviously I haven't really got hardly anything yet, only from a couple people, and I don't want to come up with all the stories, guys. I want you guys to come up with your own stories. I want you guys to come up with your own directions where you want to go. Obviously, that isn't required. I will fill in the gaps wherever they need to be filled in, but this is as crazy as you want to make it. So hit me up, please. Let me know where you want to go with your character and what you want to do. So there we go. tag team match here. Moving on, we got Chaos Inc., Jack Frost, and Reverend Dizon defeating the $1 Million Minds, the newly formed tag team of the rookie $1 Million Mike and Alaska Brown, another personal friend of mine. 61-40, pretty big victory here for Chaos Inc., who move on to 2-0, undefeated as a tag team now. The write-up pretty much claimed that they had their way with the $1 Million Minds. I like what Alaska Brown's doing. I just threw in, because I know he likes podcasts and stuff, so I threw in a funny little line on the All Out show, and he's taking it and he's running with it. The Brown account apparently is a podcast that Alaska Brown holds that a $1 Million Mike's going to be a part of. You need to check it out in the write-ups on his on the trash talking section on Discord. Fun stuff there. So I made sure to include some of that in this. That's another thing. I try to include anything you guys talk about. I try to include it as much as I can into the write-ups as well. So feel free to try to do any, chiming in on the trash talk section on the Discord. But like I said, 2-0 here. Chaos Inc. say that they plan. Jack Frost got the microphone at the end of the match, said that he plans on Chaos Inc. being the most dominant tag team in the JRPL. Pretty bold statement. Only two matches in to their little careers here, but nonetheless they are undefeated. So who am I to say they won't achieve that goal? So there we go. Next up, we had a Ultimate X match for newcomers. This is all their second match in the JRPL. We got the gifted one, Ricky Jones, getting the win here via capture. He got 5 matches correct in a row, straight right off the bat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very first 5 matches. So when you look at the scores, I had to make sure to point this out so it's not confusing to everybody. As soon as that happens, the scores lock in. And the 6th match that did take place on the card did not matter. Those points are not achieved because right after that 5th match was correct, everything stops because it acts as Ricky Jones, pulling down the big red X in the Ultimate X match. Same goes for ladder match. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the numbers lock in and bonus points take place after the show. So the fact that this match ended before the final match means that the bonus questions do not count. I hope that makes sense. But the bonus questions come afterwards. That's why none of the bonuses that all 4 of these superstars got were added to their scores. So that is what that's about. That's part of the stipulation. That's just how it works. And it's the same for the ladder match. But Ricky Jones gets the win over Mark Noble. If you're watching this, Halacon, please. I'm not the best at pronouncing things, if you couldn't guess that already. Please type down below a little pronouncer for me so I know how to pronounce your name. And DJ Killer Kyle, who got match of the night last show. So big showcase out of all these competitors here on the night. It was very close there for a minute. Mark Noble got that on the 5th match that Ricky Jones got. Mark Noble was at 4 right alongside Ricky Jones, I believe, and missed it right there at the end. So close right there for Mark Jones to keep that match going, but couldn't quite hang on. And Ricky Jones gets the win, moves on to 2-0, while everybody else, I believe Mark Noble is, let's just switch over to All Out. Let's see, what did he, okay, so Mark Noble is now 0-2. I believe Halacon, yes, got the win there, so they're 1-1. And DJ Killer Kyle did get the loss in that match of the night, so he is also 0-2. So pretty big starts, though. So I want to see where all 4 of these superstars go moving on. Speaking of moving on and new superstars, we got James Sheriff Dog Davenport taking on Broken Nerd in a hardcore match. The write-up here pretty much served as Broken Nerd is well known in the JRPL, one of the, just about originals, if not an original. I'd have to look that up. But he's been here since the beginning for the most part, if not the very beginning. And he has transitioned into one of the better known hardcore wrestlers, doing better in hardcore matches, death matches, match stipulations, stuff like that. So in the write-up, it was a lot of Broken Nerd saw potential in James Sheriff Dog Davenport and wanted to, basically, he's the one that got this match called for the hardcore match. He wanted to see what Davenport had in him, So they put up a pretty good score here, especially because if you know hardcore rules, you get subtracted points for getting matches wrong. Broken Nerd with a 28, higher than a lot of people on the card who did not have the hardcore match stipulation. So Broken Nerd, a grizzled veteran in the JRPL at this point, puts the big numbers up, gets the win over Davenport. But at the very end, you kind of saw there was like this showing of respect. So Broken Nerd put Davenport to the test. He liked what he saw, and then he walked to the back when we had this happen. Let's go down to the write-ups really quick. I'm coming back was as the ring crew was getting to work cleaning up the debris from the ring. Broken Nerd was heading to the back when the Titantron lit up with the words "I'm coming back." It appeared in bold letters, followed by "The future JRPL Hall of Famer returns soon." Obviously, that got a big reaction for the fans. Broken Nerd tried to ignore it. We don't know if this was directed towards Broken Nerd or not. We don't know if this is just a generic statement thrown in the middle of the card. We'll have to see as this develops. But apparently, a future JRPL Hall of Famer will be returning to the JRPL very soon. We're going to have to see who that is. We're going to have to see what they do. We're going to have to see what happens. So stay tuned for that. Then next up, we got Jut9, who won the main event at All Out, taking on a Luke Gray, who is trying to find some success, especially with his new little question mark thrown in his name. And he did. I know the scores aren't super impressive here, okay, but a win nonetheless. Luke Gray defeated Jut9 18-11. So that is going to boost Luke Gray kind of up in the ratings a little bit, which rankings aren't going to be coming out until after the first month of the JRPL. At the end of October, by the way, because, you know, I don't want to throw stuff out there while so little has happened. I want to wait till we actually get some matches under our belt before we start throwing out some rankings and ratings and all that kind of stuff. So right now, just know that Jut9, the guy who just won the main event, took the loss to Luke Gray. So that's a pretty big win for Luke Gray. Congrats on that. Then we had two people who just got a big win at All Out. Ash defeating Spring Tigers this time around, 21-19. Very close matchup here. We are looking at possible, as higher up we go in this card, we're going to be talking about possible JRPL world title contenders, and this match is definitely one of them. Ash gets the big win. I'm not going to lie, these two are high up in the rankings and the ratings right now in the JRPL, so Ash gets that little bit of a bump over Spring Tigress. There is going to be a news article that I want to put out sometime later on this month that is going to involve Spring Tigress and a little announcement that she has. So we'll get to that as, you know, when it happens. But just want to tease that as we talk about what's going to be happening in these next two matches here. Both ladder matches hanging above the ring were contracts to crown the next JRPL Road Warrior champion. Because right now, all titles are vacant. Everything's still vacant. We're still, you know, making this comeback here. And the first match was supposed to be CM Carlito versus Wookie, but CM Carlito couldn't quite get his picks in. I was talking to him before the show, and everything looked good, but then something happened. It slipped his mind. He didn't quite, something with the time zones. I don't know. Either way, he missed the predictions. So I wrote in that I believe he was under the weather. I think I put in there. Let's see, severely under the weather. That's what it was. Severely under the weather. He just slipped up. It happens. It's happened to all of us, I'm sure, at some point. So he'll be back later on, hopefully with a vengeance. But unfortunately, he did miss out on a title opportunity here. And Alpha Dog came in, the last JRPL Road Warrior champion that we've had. He came in and got a big win over Wookie, who wasn't even playing. Alpha Dog wasn't even playing to be in the match. So he seized that opportunity, 18-10. Unfortunately, Wookie won the lower scores on the night. So that could have been a big win for CM Carlito. He kind of missed this opportunity here, but I'm sure he'll have plenty more in the future. But all the focus on Alpha Dog making that ladder climbed up, pulled the contract down. The whole little write-up was talking about how Alpha Dog used his speed and agility to outmaneuver the big red monster of Wookie in ladder matches. I think having that agility and speed definitely does give you the advantage. So that is what played into the write-up for this match. So Alpha Dog moves on to, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit, but he moves on to get that title match. And the next person that he is going to face is going to be 3J Platinum, defeating Rate Wrestle. In both of these matches, as you see, via points, because nobody got 5 matches in a row consecutively. So it came down to just points on who's going to win. 25-24, a lot higher scores here in this match, a lot closer here. 1 point difference. 3J Platinum gets the win over Rate Wrestle, who really and honestly, I want to call this, even though 3J Platinum has been here since the beginning, he is an original. I want to call this an upset. Rate Wrestle has been killing it. Right before the hiatus, he's been killing it. He comes in, gets a big win at All Out, and then in the second co-main event, basically, because of the Woody not showing up, which was Woody and Legit Boss were going to be the co-main event, but they didn't quite cut it. Thanks, Woody. Where you at, man? Rate Wrestle, I thought, had the advantage coming in, but just shy of getting the win here. And 3J Platinum is going on to face the Alpha Dog. And these two are former Road Warrior champions already. So we are going to have, one of them is going to be walking away a 2-time Road Warrior champion. So we'll have to see who takes the title coming up soon. And then in the main event, the death match on the night, we have James Costner going up against the Warden, 9-16. Not the best night Warden has ever seen. And obviously all the promo graphics have all, showcased James Costner, and he stepped it up in a big way, getting the main event win here. Now, if you remember, Vitamin Yes back in the day was not always in the main event scene. Sure, he's definitely been there from time to time, but not always in the main event scene. This new and improved, maybe over these, 2 years just about since JRPL's been gone, inactive. James Costner's been out there, training, working, grinding, on the grind, making a name for himself in other promotions, and has come back to the JRPL, showing, hey, you know what? I'm a little bit better than I used to be. So we're going to have to put James Costner up there as obviously clearly a main eventer here in the JRPL. Even though his story going on right now is he wants to destroy the JRPL and destroy, I liked how he worded it, the golden goose, as for the Warden. That's what he's been calling the Warden in his little promos. I like that. Definitely ran with it, and it was used in the write-up. The write-up, I try to make it pretty brutal. I have to tone myself back because I love, I love hardcore wrestling and stuff like that. I could just do write-ups for days for like hardcore wrestling and stuff like that. So I try to showcase some things, and in the write-up, which actually I think was pretty long. So sorry about that if this is too long for some people. It was, oh geez, yeah, it was a big boy there. But if you get a chance, check it out, read it. Basically, there were scaffolds around the ring, there were panes of glass, there's all kinds of weapons, as you would expect in a death match. The big kind of spot in the match was when there was these 4 tables stacked up with light tube log cabins. Do you guys know what light tube log cabins are, by the way? I don't know. I know a lot of you guys probably don't know, don't follow. Oh, actually, this video is perfect. This video right here is perfect. The hold on, let's see. I think it'll show, right? Yes. So in the CZW video, this is perfect. A light tube log cabin. Okay, it happened so fast. If you can kind of see it here, they're busting through it, but it's got a ton of light tubes all taped together as like one structure. And this was almost exactly, funny enough, exactly the structure that was used in the JRPL in the match. There are 4 tables stacked up, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. And this one only had 1 light tube log cabin. I thought that there were like several, but for the most part, this is the exact structure. So if you want to just see, this is kind of what happened to the Warden here, minus the, the big move, bam. That's kind of what happened to the Warden. Pretty much died. So yeah, it wasn't good. But basically in the write-up, what happened was Warden was going to get thrown through that structure, almost exactly like that. It was going to be a military press. James Coster was about to throw him off, but Legit Boss, one of Warden's longtime friends, came out, got in the ring, pleaded for Warden to stop, or pleaded for James Coster to stop, kind of, a little distraction. Then James Coster he was distracted a little bit. He dropped Warden behind him. Warden got up, gave him a spinning heel kick, almost knocked James Coster off. He started to fall backwards, but Warden reached out, caught him, grabbed him. Obviously, he didn't want anything horrible to obviously Warden wants to win. He is a face after all in the story here. He didn't want the dude to die, basically, which is not quite the same feeling James Coster had, because Warden helped pull James Coster back up onto the scaffold, only to get attacked and then thrown off with a power bomb through all of those tables. While Warden was laying through all of that rubble that you kind of just saw in that video, I swear to God, I did not plan that. That's hilarious that was the top thing on CZW's Twitter. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. But while he was laying in all that rubble, Legit Boss was checking on him, calling for help. James Coster said, you know what? Screw it. Jumped off, hit a little 5-star frog splash out of the Warden's playbook. Not his finisher, but one of his little moves in his move set. Kind of insult to injury there. Comes down, smashes on top of both Legit Boss and Warden, and gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. Big statement here. At the very end, I believe the line was the very end of the show, the way it closed. He turns to the camera as the copyright appears in waves saying, "Bye-bye, Golden Goose," as the show comes to a close. So, yeah, James Coster said everything he was going to do and came in and did it. So where does this leave James Coster? Where does this leave his, mission to take down the JRPL? He took down the Golden Goose, apparently, tonight, on this night. And we're going to see where this story goes. We're going to see how the Warden responds. Hopefully he's not in another coma. For those of you that are new, back in the day, Warden suffered a horrendous fall at WrestleMania on the King of the Road match, which was he fell, basically, bottom line, he fell off of a moving truck and smashed through another car and was put in a coma. Very brutal. This was not quite that bad. Pretty bad, but not nearly as bad as flying through another moving vehicle as you're moving. But pretty big move here. Took Warden out. James Coster gets the big main event win, and that is your recap for JRPL Extreme Rules 2022. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with, in 2 weeks, October 22nd, 2022, Halloween Havoc. I am so excited for there to be an actual Halloween Havoc pay-per-view for us to call, and an actual event to put in our archives with Halloween Havoc in it. It was definitely one of my favorite pay-per-views back in WCW days. Check out the fun little logo here. We got the theme song here, War Pigs, Black Sabbath. It doesn't get much better than that right there. I'm probably gonna get this copyright flag, but you know what? This ain't for money, so I don't care. Obviously, the card is blank at the moment. Here are a lot of the JRPL competitors that are scheduled to be there. Hopefully, you all can make it. I would love to see you there. Main event wise, like I said, hasn't been pinned out, but the next show right after that, on the 28th, the following week on Friday, is our first ever JRPL Rumble on 44th Street 2022. This is our first ever JRPL New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view. We are going to be covering those pay-per-views from now on, at least the ones that are, notable and big enough to cover. Some of them, not all of them, will be covered, but the ones that the JRPL deems, big enough to cover, we will be covering those. So this is the first one. It's going to be taking place in Times Square. The main event will be for the Road Warrior Championship, the first title to be reclaimed in the JRPL. It's going to be, as we already saw, I haven't updated the graphics quite yet because I literally am filming this right after Extreme Rules. Haven't been updated yet. But we know the main event will be 3J Platinum versus the Alpha Dog. So when you're the Road Warrior Champion, you're expected to compete on every show. So even though I don't know if 3J Platinum, I don't know if Alpha Dog are New Japan Pro Wrestling fans, I have to do some research myself. I'm excited to do some research, excited to watch some New Japan Pro Wrestling. I plan to be watching this show. I plan to be watching a lot leading up to this. Obviously, no matches have been announced yet. But I hope you guys are too. I don't expect this to be a very big card because New Japan's probably, 4-2, well, literally, but, not in everybody's wheelhouse. This is going to be our first show. So I don't even know if we're going to have 10 matches to fill out the card. I honestly don't know if there's that much interest in it. I hope you guys do show that much interest in it. I hope we can make, New Japan Pro Wrestling a successful thing in JRPL. I mean, it will be eventually. I'm pretty confident in that. But, starting right out of the gate, I hope you guys show up to the first ever show, at least for New Japan, that we cover. It'll be fun. I mean, this is a house show, so it doesn't count against any of your, pushes or, title runs or anything, except for Road Warrior, obviously. That's the only one that it ever counts for. But yes, it is a house show. If you guys, this is the house shows for you guys out there that are new. That's where you can, if you want to request a match that's, outside of what you're doing in the storyline wise, request it. We'll make it happen best we can. And house shows are just for fun. Same as they are in the wrestling world. House shows are meant to be fun. Meant to, take any pressure of winning or losing away. They're just for fun. So that's going to be coming up, followed by Crown Jewel, which is going to be November. And then another November show is going to be the next Full Gear, November 19th. So obviously the Road Warrior Championship will be defended in every show after the Rumble show. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about are the titles. You actually see this is the old Road Warrior title right here. I do have somebody that I am commissioning to recreate all of our titles. These are our titles. These are a little bit older. I think these were created in WWE 2K16. This one may have been 2K17, the Road Warrior, because it came a little bit later. They're out of date. I like the look of some of them, but they need to be remade. I brought it up in the Discord. I got a lot of input from a lot of you guys. Thank you so much. Sorry, I've been talking too much. My throat's giving away. But I talked to the commission guy, and things are looking good. Things are moving forward. Hopefully, this guy is a real life belt maker. That sounds a little weird because we're talking about JRPL, but he is he makes actual titles, like custom titles from scratch. Now, that's not entirely what we're going for because ours are kind of themed after some stuff. Like obviously this is a little bit of the Intercontinental title and stuff like that. But these are going to be all redesigned and will look a whole lot better than what we currently have. I'm just hoping that we can get it done before the Rumble on 44th Street. The guy's a busy guy. Like I said, he's making actual titles for people. I am in line, JRPL's I think 10th in line to get our commission done. And I've talked to him for a while, so I'm hoping we can get it done in 3 weeks, but we will see. If not, we might just have to run with the old design at least for a couple shows until we get the new belts in, and we can make a fun story out of it. Who knows? But just wanted to point that out, that we are getting new title designs as well. And they're coming from a legit belt designer, belt maker. So that, funny enough, does commissions also for the 2K games, which is where these are also going to be coming from. So I will put those, for those of you that do play the WWE 2K games, these will also be available on the, what's it called? The community creations, I think is what it's called on there. These will be available on there. So if you're, you know what? You could download them on there, have them on your wrestlers on there. So there you go. That is it, everybody. I've talked way too much. I hope you've enjoyed Extreme Rules Recap. We're going to end the video right there, and we'll see you on the next show, Halloween Havoc.